Hi, it's me again. Apologies if it's a bit dark. It's quite late at night here, actually, for me. This is late. 20 to 8 at night, and I'm sitting in the Montemar area of Torremolinos in a British bar. And this came up on my news feed today. And did I chuckle? Well, yes, I did chuckle. Did you see it? Look, it was doing all the rounds in all the news things, so you probably have seen it by now. BBC Studios plans to sell adverts on podcasts on commercial sites. So we know BBC Studios is the commercial wing of the BBC, and you know, if you're a regular viewer, that I have a problem with BBC Studios. I don't understand how they're able to trade commercially under the BBC name when the BBC's over here saying, we're desperate for money, please give us our 159 quid a year. How does that even work? BBC Studios owns 100% of UK TV, showing adverts on the shows that you long since paid for with your TV licence fees. 100% of it they own. And you look at the history of UK TV, like Dave and that, and Gold. Gold's constantly Only Fools and Horses or Gavin and Stacey. BBC shows, showing adverts. Dave is constantly Top Gear, BBC show, showing adverts. And now this. BBC are quite famous for some of their podcasts. They're well known for their podcasting stuff. Very popular they are. I'm not a podcast enthusiast myself, but I do accept that people do listen to them. I think that's Sophie Rayworth from BBC News. Didn't she sack off being a news presenter for a 300 grand a year job as a podcaster? Hang on. Got my favourite beer. It's good, this one. Victoria. It's nice. Adverts are the norm on commercial platforms, BBC Studios said, and would generate more revenue to support the BBC. Licence fee payers, our suppliers and rights holders. Now, okay, fair dues. Some money does flow from BBC Studios to the BBC, but quite a lot of money flows back. Don't forget that most of the shows on the BBC are produced by BBC Studios. So they pay BBC Studios your licence fee money for the shows. And, okay, BBC Studios said adverts are the norm on commercial platforms. Yes, adverts are the norm. We're all used to it now. I was watching a clip, I'm going to talk about it in another video, on BBC Breakfast News, where they're talking about the fucking cheek of them. They're talking about adverts on things like Amazon Prime and Netflix and Discovery Plus. On my Discovery Plus is $3.99 a month and it's supported by adverts. I don't like the adverts. I don't like the fact that I have to pay and also have adverts, but if I didn't want the adverts, I'd have to pay more. So I'm willing to suffer it. So adverts are the norm, according to the BBC, who just flat refuses to show adverts and wants your 159 quid a year. Soon to be more. Unbelievable. And with more BBC critics, that would be me, suggesting a universal fee no longer makes sense in a digital era of abundance choice, there has been speculation its funding model could change. Speculation that it could change. There should be no speculation that it could change, and we should be saying it should change. BBC Studios is fully commercial. They sell shows all around the world. They also sell shows to the BBC that you pay your licence fee to for licence fee payers funds. They also own 100% of BritBox International that charges subscriptions. But the BBC itself doesn't want to show adverts and doesn't want subscriptions. It's starting to be so comical, this situation, that it's taking the piss, isn't it? If you want to be a commercial company, you cannot trade under the BBC name. I'm sorry. But News Media Association Chief Executive Owen Meredith said they were very alarming. Such an intervention would profoundly distort competition, wreaking havoc on commercial players right across the media and advertising sector, he added. I keep hearing this. If the BBC go commercial, it's going to knacker all the other commercial channels, because all the revenue will go to the BBC, because the BBC are that fucking great that they'll take all the advertising revenue. And also, advertising revenue has never been bigger Why do you think Amazon are starting to show ads on Amazon Prime? Why do you think Discovery Plus are starting to show ads on its platform? Why do you think Netflix are starting to show ads on its platforms? Because there is money there for adverts. There's a car going by. The BBC would not wash out ITV or Channel 4 with its ads. It just wouldn't. There's enough to go. When was the last time you saw an ad that was only on one channel? It doesn't happen. Ads are on multiple channels. They run. That's how advertising works. BBC Studios already sells ads on BBC podcasts outside the UK, much like the BBC News channel, which is also run by BBC Studios. They changed it massively in order to have ad breaks in it in other markets, just not in the UK. Why can't you just show ads on it in the UK? Remind me again why you can't do that, because the ad breaks are still fucking there. They're just not showing ads in the ad breaks. They're showing weather updates or local news or something. It also sells audiobooks, but last year 75% of its revenue came from streaming services such as Amazon Prime Video and Netflix. Meanwhile, BBC Sounds generated 1.6 billion plays last year. That's local radio and podcasts and things like that. So 75% of its revenue, whether that's from audiobooks or not, I can't imagine it is if it mentions Netflix. But BBC Studios sells all its shows to Netflix under the BBC name for profit, same as Amazon Prime. And they don't just sell it to a streaming service, they sell it to channels all around the world. There is a BBC iPlayer style app in Poland that is subscription. You've got BritBox is quite big in the States. Many of the American broadcast networks purchase BBC shows, all from BBC Studios. This is having your cake and eating it, and it has to stop. It is taking the piss. It's taking the absolute piss, isn't it? What do you think about this? Apologies for the bit more rubbish backdrop today, but I have spoiled you recently with some lovely backdrops, and I'm sitting here looking at the sea as well. I could have turned around really, but I've spoiled you looking at the sea. And plus, I'm only here to enjoy me Victoria. I've been at the hospital all day. Working during the day, and then at the hospital again tonight with my uncle. And after some tests and stuff like that, I just fancied coming out for a couple of beers and a Chinese. But it's just a bit sad doing it on your own, isn't it? But let me know what you think about this, whether you think this is right by BBC Studios. How does BBC Studios get away with trading commercially under the BBC name? And let's not forget, it's not just BBC Studios. There's BBC Distribution Limited. Have a look. Just do a Companies House search. Just type in BBC Studios Companies House. It will come up. And then there's some tabs. You can click one that says People, find the Company Secretary, click that, and you will see a list of all the BBC commercial companies. And it's a massive piss take. Yeah, okay. Let me know your thoughts on this. If you want to read the whole article, it's in the description thing below. While you're down there reading that and leaving your comment, hit all the buttons and everything as well. And if you do that, hopefully I'll see you in another one again soon. Ta-da.